Activism has been attributed with fights, with agitation, with opposition, being against government. But really, for me, political activism is that ability to be active and be involved in the political landscape around you. Because really, in a political setting, that is the only way. BudgIT started in 2011 when demanding for public data or requesting public data was like a sacred activity to do. Though it was in a democratic setting, but yet even the democratic officials, those that occupy political office as of that time, do not even really and completely understand the tenets of democracy. So public information were hoarded, there was opacity around the activities of government, and so Olusegun and Joseph came in to see how they can use technology to simplify public data, simplifying it and bringing it close to people irrespective of their literacy level.
Nigeria has a long list of people who are popular for political activism and protest rallies in a bid to hold the government accountable. Some of these protests have met with resistance from the government, leading to arrest and brutality from law enforcement agencies.
The essence of marching on the streets is not to fight. Even for when we go out or we join other protesters to go on the street, it is not because we are against the government. It is not as a sign of opposition against the government. It is in demand for accountability. It is in demand for better governance. It is in demand for, the need, the yearnings of the citizens, of the people.
For BudgIT, the demand for better governance and holding government accountable beg for a new kind of activism.
For us, we chose the way of data. Our work will not even be at the forefront. We may not be on the podium leading a protest, but what we do is far more than being on the podium leading a protest. We provide data. When we provide data and people are able to see, right, the real situation of things, and it propels them to demand, remediation or demand better governance. If we take the revised 2020 budget as an example, about 73% of the revised 2020 budget went into recurrent expenditures and debt servicing, which then leave us with about 26% that goes into capital expenditures. And right, when the year ends and you look at budget implementation, one of the things you are going to be seeing is most of the time recurrent expenditures are usually not underspent. As a matter of fact, most of the time they are overspent, right? Where you then see issues is the 26% that is really small to commit to capital projects is even the area where you now see that government is not optimizing or spending up to 100%. And then where they are spending up to 100%, you realize that there is a lot of ambiguity, there is a lot of corruption that happens in the process of procurement and contracting and implementation of projects, right, that will benefit the general citizen. That is why you see BudgIT engaging in the use of creative tools, infographics, image, icons, videos. We even go as far as grassroots educating citizens at the grassroots level, just to be able to ensure and give everybody access to their right.
A health center, meaning you are spending your own personal money. No, that's not true. The money for constituency project is part of the 100 billion which the federal government has budgeted yearly across the 36 states for the 469 House of Rep members.
And for us, we consider that after the constitution of the nation, the next set of information that every citizen should have access to is budget information, because it is the budget information that is released on an annual basis that shows the direction of government, what plan the government have for its people and for the community where people live. We have chosen the path of data, using data to empower citizens and using data to demand better governance from the people. At the end of the day, whether we are using data, whether we are on the street, whether we are singing Solidarity Forever, everyone really, we are all in the field of activism. Really, every one of us. There are some that are doing theirs in the health sector. There are some that are doing theirs on the streets. There are some that are doing theirs in school. But every one of us is involved in one way or the other. Every one of us are aiming at the same thing: better governance.
In the advocacy for better governance, BudgIT is trying to put the citizens in the driver's seat.
We started by promoting and facilitating access to information for citizens. And about 4 or 5 years after we started doing that, and we saw that we are gaining traction in doing that, we came to a point where we then ask ourselves, what is the next thing? So if the citizens have access to data, they have access to this information, how else and what else can they do? That, and that was how we came about our tracker. Tracker was meant to serve as a platform to integrate citizens and their elected officials. It is not every aspect of the budget document that interests the common man, and we got to know that aspect of the budget that interests the common man is the project, right? Everyone wants to see what provision has been made for that project that they want to see in their community, right? And then Tracker then offer that platform where you are able to report on the project that is going on around you. Even before you get to the point where you want to report on the project, once the budget is approved into law, we go ahead of releases of funds to educate everyone and all communities where project is going to be implemented. So there is an anticipation. And on top of that anticipation is now when the project starts, Tracker then offer citizens, irrespective of where they are, in the urban area, in the rural area, that platform to be able to report to say, this project has started, this project is ongoing, this project has been abandoned, or this project is done satisfactorily, or this is the need of our community that has not been captured in the budget. Tracker is like that point where both the citizens and their far to reach or hard to get elected officials can integrate together. And it is also a platform that aggregates what we call the noise of the people and turn it into an advocacy message. Most of the time, what we see is that the political class have a way, and they have mastered the game of using the people to get them into office, but we the people have not mastered our way of making them to hold on to their promises and be accountable and be transparent in the way they do things. So when we advocate for people to get involved, for citizens to be active, we are saying vote. When you vote, don't just vote. When your preferred elected officials get into office, also engage for that, demand accountability, demand that they respond to you, that they talk to you, and they do your biddings. And also getting involved is when they don't do what you expect them to do, we should also be able to exercise that power to recall. Sometimes recalling might not be the solution. It is just being able to prick them, being able to hold them to their word, being able to hold them to their election promises.
As a foremost organization in the field of political advocacy, BudgIT makes use of technology, open source data, and the internet to facilitate transparency and accountability in government.
The more we get involved in government, the more we get involved in having access and using information, to demand accountability, the lesser corruption we are going to see. When citizens are not aware of their rights or what is due to them, they are not able to demand for it. And when they are not demanding for it, it then makes the job easier for the man that ordinarily want to, be corrupt to then embezzle what nobody is requesting for. And that is why we do a lot when it comes to our citizen education. Not being political aware is a straight shortcut to bad governance, because if you look at the common saying, what you don't know you have, you don't miss. Information is power, really. It is hard for anyone to overcome the power of knowledge and power of information. But where ignorance prevails, trust me, corruption is the order of the day. We see different cases where funds that are meant to implement projects in community are diverted, or projects that should serve the majority of citizens are being used to compensate a selected group of political loyalists. We have even seen, very recently, we saw cases of COVID-19 palliative that were being diverted and being used as birthday souvenirs by elected officials. All of those are corruption, and whether they are monetary, they are material corruption, they are all corruption, and really all of them are shocking. Anywhere we see corruption there, it's shocking, and we want to recover from those shocks.
The work that BudgIT does means they uncover corrupt practices in the activities of government officials, but uncovering corruption has its own downsides.
Corruption fights. When you fight corruption, corruption will fight you, and we are not exempted from that too. Corruption always fights us back, and there are several instances, both the emotional one and the objective ones and the professional ones. If I can cite an example, an instance would be on Tracker. We have instances where our field officers will go to community, to the grassroots level, to go and educate citizens at community. And education, our education is not forced education. It's the same information that the government has provided in, let's say, budgets, approved budgets. When a project is meant to be carried out in a community, once that approval comes on that project, we go ahead, even before fund disbursement, to go and educate citizens, to let them know this project has been nominated, this project is going to be implemented, these are the details of the project. And we've had instances where some of our officers will not leave that setting where they are educating the community, because it is the same community people that they are trying to help, that they are trying to educate, that will reach out to their political principals to give them a false information that, there is someone from BudgIT or from Tracker here that is inciting people against you. And before our officers will be arrested. We've had that happen not once, not twice, not 3 times. It has happened at the states. It has happened inside National Assembly. The good thing is, because of the objectivity and the reality of what we are doing, we always have a good stand when it comes to justifying what we are doing. We are not inciting evil. We are not inciting violence. We are wholly educating citizens. And that always come to speak for us and be our bailout of trouble anytime the fight comes. When we see some of our activities gaining the attention of government, as a matter of fact, we are working in partnership with some government. As of today now, we have MOU signed with some state governments that commit to fiscal transparency and accountability. So when we see government entity reaching out to us to say, we understand what you are doing, can you come and support us? Can you come and train us? Can you come and, simplify our budget document for us, or this certain information for us? I mean, it shows that was something that even some government entity are seeing and is giving credence to our work. And that's a positive feedback for us.
No doubt, BudgIT has pushed the frontiers of fiscal transparency in Nigeria. However, there is more to do.
The critical questions that we are still trying to unravel is how release of data, budget data, can be institutionalized both at the federal level and at the state level, is such that whether there is an incentive from any quarters to do so, the state government realize that this is a right, this is an information that every citizen should have access to. A lot of state governments still takes laws into their hand. They can choose to be opaque, they can choose what they want to release and what they don't want to release. The federal level has a binding law that binds them, what we call the Fiscal Responsibility Act, that binds the federal government to releasing public data, public finance data, to release their budget documents, their audited statements, their budget implementation report, and all of that. But at the state level, Fiscal Responsibility Act has not really been domesticated at the state level. I think there are just about 2 states or so that have domesticated that act. And of course, I'm sure we don't want to talk about local government because that's still far from reality. Information at the local government is practically lost.
As the values of democracy become more entrenched in the Nigerian political system, the willingness for transparency in government is also growing.
We might not have gotten to where we are going, but we have left where we used to be. The opacity around public information is changing, right? Far from where it used to be. If we look at from where we started, and this is in all sincerity, we can say that government has changed for about the first 7 years of budget existence. Every year when the federal government approves the budget into law, BudgIT, as a civil society organization, will take it upon itself to break down the annual budget into what we call simplified budget, or what we call the citizen budget. But in the last 2 years, we started seeing the action of government, the federal government, the budget office of the federation, right, now also taking going a step further. When the budget is released, they are also now taking initiative to design that budget into a simplified budget, or what we call the citizen budget also, which then shows that whatever we have been doing was seen, is being appreciated, and government is now realizing that it is not our core responsibilities, because in the first place we are not working to take the place of government. We are actually filling a space that government is not filling. And when we see government filling that space, number one, it communicates to us that we are doing something right. It also shows that our results is tangible and validate our strategy. Towards the end of last year, the federal government of Nigeria launched a portal that is called the opentreasury.gov, right, to publish the spending of federal government on a daily basis. And at some point this year, we decided to take that portal and we crawled that portal, look at the data in that portal, and look at some emerging issues from that portal in the spending of the federal government. And we saw some issues: payment to individual accounts, payments without descriptions, all sorts of issues. And we did raise that in advocacy, highlighting the issues that we have seen in the implementation of that portal. And thankfully, in response to our advocacy messages, our advocacy action, we saw the federal government of Nigeria setting up a presidential committee looking at reforming the issues that are coming from that portal. And thankfully also, BudgIT was invited to be part of that presidential committee on the reform of Open Treasury portal. And we saw, being a member of that committee now, we have seen significant reduction in the numbers of issues that comes from that portal.
BudgIT's approach to advocacy has shown itself to be articulate, integrated, and results-oriented. With the amount of impacts it has created, BudgIT may be defining the future of political activism.
The only way activism will be defined going forward is if we are able to keep to our game, right? And when we see this thing as a game, right, the political class know that they are in a game. If they are playing their game of tricking us every 4 years, we should also play our game of not, always advocating and not giving them the ease of time to feel they can do anything, to always make them understand and know that they need to prioritize our needs. So if the political class has a way of curbing our excesses, we should also have a way of curbing their excesses. And part of our ways of curbing their excesses is activism.